Thank you. Yes. We're going to switch it up for the summertime.
Robert's colorblind.
See, how many of you are wearing boots like in your logo, bitch? That's right.
You're the little boo.
Did you even get to swap mine out? I have mine in the car.
How many of you have ever done that to someone? I've actually done that to someone.
In or out of a ring?
Out of a ring, on a sidewalk.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Lance Winners here.
And you know me, Austin Largo here.
Hey guys, it's the original Ross Roy. What's up?
And
Max
today,
Ammo, baby.
oh come on, I want to give you a better introduction than that. As you see, we got a loaded desk here today. We got a very special guest today. This is one of your last times to see him. Here in the States, stronger than you since '72, the angriest man alive, Max Ammo.
Yeah, buddy.
Woo! How you doing today, man?
It's good to be here, man. It's good to be here.
So I know you came all the way down from Venice. How was your drive down here?
It was awesome, man. It was interesting.
Interesting?
Uber rides. You never know who's going to pick you up.
You have a good driver?
I liked him. He was yelling a lot of the traffic. I like that. I like seeing people expressing themselves,
That's good. Yeah, that always makes an Uber ride a little more bearable.
Yeah.
But, let's jump right into it. One thing that I think is very interesting, you're a vegan. You're very proud of that. You're a vegan bodybuilder, right?
Yes, I am, yes.
And, being a bodybuilder takes a lot of protein, right?
Yes.
So how are you able to get all the protein you need to maintain that, godlike figure you have? Yeah, is it a lot of protein shakes, protein powder?
I try not to rely too much on protein shakes. You don't need animal protein you don't need animal products to get protein. That's how I choose to represent veganism.
I think it's important that people eat less meat overall, but I don't want to be one of those people that's judgmental. So the way I try and promote veganism is just to basically, because I don't feel there's enough people saying that you can be vegan and you can be jacked. You can be a strength athlete. There's this whole, myself when I became vegan, I was really concerned how am I going to get enough protein, etc. And it's really not a problem.
How long have you been vegan for?
3 years now.
3 years?
Yeah. Completely, it's been 3 years since I've had any animal protein at all.
Wow. Yeah, I was watching some of your earlier matches, a couple years back. You definitely look like you've gained some muscle, and it seems like about the time you went vegan, so it definitely
Yeah, I
shows.
mean, I believe in giving people the truth, and bodybuilding is something I care about immensely. So, if I'm completely honest, what happened when I became vegan was, prior to becoming vegan, I was eating a more ketogenic style diet, low carbs, like carbs bad, you get this drummed into you. So when I became vegan, in order to get your protein from plant products, your carbs go right up. Actually carbs are pretty good. They help keep your muscles full, they give you energy for workouts, as long as they're good carbohydrates.
Yeah, the good ones, yeah.
Like brown rice, brown pasta, oats, stuff like that. So I definitely credit my increased intake of carbohydrates and less dietary fat with the improvements I made to my physique in the last 3 years. Look at the bodybuilders in the 90s. Like the guys in the 90s, Dorian Yates, Flex Wheeler, Paul Dillette. Those guys, I mean, even now, people watching bodybuilding now say the guys in the 90s look better. And the guys in the 90s followed low-fat, slightly higher carbohydrate. It was before this keto, the trend for ketogenic diets,
Awesome, so, this living proof that you don't need meat to be a brick house.
Yeah, that's what I like to represent,
Lance, you want, me and Lance were going over. You're a musician as well, along with being a pro wrestler. How'd you get into the music game?
Well, for me, music, right, I grew up listening to punk, and I grew up watching, originally WWF, but then, in the early 90s, ECW. And the great thing about punk rock and ECW is, it's about getting up and having a go. For me, I've never been happy being an audience member or being a spectator. The first time I went to see a band play in the bar, I was like, I want to be in a band.
Yeah.
The first time I saw some wrestling, I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into music. That's how I got into punk. That's how I got into writing. That's how I got into making films. I just, there's all this great creative stuff, and I just wanted to get involved,
It's always
be a participator, not a spectator. if that's what floats your boat, you know.
Yeah, it really is great to see something awesome, but it's even better to make it yourself, you know, and you get the full exposure knowing that I created something beautiful, you know, versus always just watching anything, you know. You can create anything you put your mind to.
Well, exactly. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you got your show here. You know, you design the logo. You're going to get out there. You're trying to reach your audience, trying to build an audience. You know,
Making connections with different people and whatnot.
you know, and I mean, if everything like I think a lot of people are scared of failing, and it holds them back in life. You know. And the only real failure, unless you're stupid with your money, the only real failure is not doing something. You know?
The more you do, the less you wait. I've been saying that a lot recently. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I was when I started wrestling again, I was not like, you know, I was coming in a little later. I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, and I had second thoughts about it, and then I did it, and I'm so glad I did it because the last decade of wrestling in the United States has been one of the best decades of my life. I met some fantastic people. You know, it's always just get in there. That's my advice to people: just go for it. Just go for it. You know.
All right. So you know we're obviously new, and we know you've been in the game for a while. I gotta know, do you have any like tips or advice, you know, that we could follow by, you know, things to guide us through these next years as we develop?
Yeah, you have like a top 5 or something going on in your head there, Max?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a new wrestler starting off, absolutely. You know, I have. Yeah, I guess I could distill it into 5 pieces of advice. You know. And I mean, you might think, why should I listen to Max? He never signed with a WWE. But what you got to bear in mind is, you know, the first wrestling school I trained at, the FWA in Croydon, my trainer was Paul Burchill, then Spud, Katie Lee Burchill, Austin Draven, Rich. I know a bunch of people that have gone to the big show, you know, and I've seen what it takes. So, you know, I know a little something.
You've seen more of the inside than they have.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, if I had to distill all that information, all that wisdom into 5 tips, it would probably the first one would be never wrestle sober, ever.
Never. That's a never on that one.
Never
Okay.
wrestle sober. Nothing looks like less professional than turning up completely sober to wrestle.
All right.
I recommend Faderade.
Faderade.
Half Gatorade, half vodka. Cuts the carbs down too. Helps keep it lean. Helps keep it ripped. The alcohol is a facilitator. It opens your veins up, helps get a pump.
All right.
Helps get you pumping there too. Hydrate. So it's great pre-match. So that would be my first tip: never wrestle sober.
You heard it here first.
Very, very important. Second tip, and this is equally important: when you turn up at the show, right? You're going to turn up at the show. If it's your first match, right?
Right.
You know, you're at wrestling. You can turn up at the show. You can see everyone walks around. They shake hands with everyone, right? They introduce.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It makes you look weak.
Oh, man.
Oh, I need friends.
Don't shake hands.
You get that, no, stand in the corner and mad dog everyone.
You've been doing it wrong
Like
this whole
that's why
time.
I'm alpha.
Okay.
I'm here to dominate.
Assert
I'm the main
dominance.
event. I'm alpha. So don't shake hands with anyone. That is
You're an alpha, everyone else is a beta.
total beta.
If
Basic
he's in the room-
beta bitches. Don't even shake hands with them.
If Max is in the room, you know, whoever the alpha is, before he walks in the room, they're automatically turned into a beta.
So yeah, don't shake hands with anyone. That is my second tip on turning up.
Slap
That
it
is
away.
very slap it away. And what else would it be? Yeah. So when you start wrestling, they're going to tell you who's going over, right? You know, this guy's winning match. Who's going over? Now, a lot of wrestlers they make the big mistake. They think that's like written in stone.
Oh,
That's not. That's just a suggestion.
so they're just guidelines.
It's a guideline.
Guidelines.
Who goes over is
Guidelines.
a guideline. It's a suggestion. You got to think, what do you want out of this match? You know.
Yeah, it's just, the booker's saying it'd be nice if this guy went over.
That's what he's saying. He said it's been nice. Like, for instance, let's look at a hypothetical. Let's run a hypothetical here. You're obeying step 1. You're having some drinks before your match. You have too much to drink. You're a little wobbly. So you go out in the parking lot to do a couple of key bumps to wait back up, run your match. You're talking to a hot single mom out in the parking lot. She's at ringside. You don't lose in front of her. You don't lose in front of her.
Oh, no.
Not if the booker is paying you more than it's going to cost to pay for a prostitute for the night.
Exactly.
So.
Wait, how much does that go for usually on your
I
tab?
mean, it's down in Bakersfield like $50, but I mean,
I don't know what I want to do for $50.
Here in Southern California, but yeah.
Bakersfield's up to 50 now.
It's been a while since.
It's the
been there, right?
Greyhound station, you know, it keeps the prices down. Keeps the traffic going.
Very nice.
But anyway, yeah, so, and also what you got to think about is if you want to be hired to a WWE too, they're a corporation. And what corporations want is people that can think for themselves. You know, they want to see someone that can think for themselves, so don't lose. That's my advice. Yeah, and so that would be 3. 4 would be this is very important actually. This is probably one of the most important things. At the end of a show, you see a lot of people that are going to dive in, they're going to be breaking the ring down, you know, carrying it out to the ring truck. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't be that guy.
Don't do
All
that.
right.
Do you want to be a rock star or do you want to be a roadie?
I want to be a rock star.
Yeah, you want to be. Well, of course you go. Roadies are overweight. They're addicted to methamphetamine and burritos, and watching internet porn on their phones. Right? You don't want to be a rock
star. There you go.
star. So never ever help break the ring down.
Okay. Shout
You
out.
got to act how you will. You want to be a main event at WrestleMania. You don't carry planks of wood around.
Yeah, I don't see Brock Lesnar doing any of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brock doesn't.
No, John Cena, do you think he helps break the ring down? Exactly. You got
No.
to start in life, you got to project image that you want to carry you through, you know?
Okay. So don't break things down. That's not.
Don't never help break the ring down. Or carry anything. Except your own bag if you can't shout at someone else and make them carry it for you. You know?
Fair.
The green guys. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Maybe bring your chauffeur and show off a little bit with them carrying your bags.
well, that's what people love. They love to see success. People love success, and they love to see someone with more money than them.
Even if they hate how you got it, they love your success.
Exactly. And how many points? Was that 4?
That's 4 now.
Big 5.
Do it.
5.
Do it a big 5.
This is the most important point, right? Practice. Turning up for wrestling practice. Don't do it. Ever. Because you know who needs to practice? Someone who's not good at something. You know, so, like, don't turn up for practice because it makes you look like you suck.
Yeah, if
Like,
you
you
don't
need
do-
to get better. Like, I need to get better. I need to practice. Dude, I'm awesome, right? I don't need to practice.
No.
Like, if you want to project image, awesome, don't turn up. If a booker, like a booker from the WWE, is coming around, he's talking to promoters, he's talking, like, you know, I like this guy, Wrestler X, right? and you know, like, the guy that runs my school, yeah, he turns up practice, like, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That guy from WWE, he sucks, then. Why does he turn up just practice like 3 times a week? What's wrong with this guy?
That's too much? Is that too much?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you couldn't get it the first time, you know?
I love it.
Yeah, you want to throw a 6 tip in there, or you think 5's good for them?
If I think of a 6 tip by the end of the show,
I think they got
I'll
paid
throw
for
it in.
the rest of the rest of the tips.
Well, I'm thinking of giving a seminar, actually.
Seminar, yeah.
Yeah, a seminar, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
It's
heard
going to
it
be
here
very
first.
exclusive,
Yeah.
though. Very exclusive.
You got a little taste of Max Ammo's tips and make it as a pro wrestler.
So, Lance, do you want to give us a rundown of those 5 tips in total here?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Little follow
You know,
up.
just, never wrestle sober. You know, you always want to make sure, you have your Faderade.
Number 1.
You know, turn up, don't shake nobody's hands. That's something I got to work on personally. Don't follow the booker when he tells you who's going over. That's just a suggestion, right? You never want to really.
Suggestion.
It's open-ended, right? Surprise the audience. End of the show, don't break down anything, don't carry anything unless it's your own championship in your bag, There's no need to be carrying planks around. That's for the chumps.
And number 5, and final.
Don't practice.
Don't
We're
practice.
We're just going to show up one day and just do it.
Because everything definitely.
Because I already know how. I'm with the know-it-all. He knows everything.
None of this took work or effort. This is all just pure talent right here, especially Max.
So, you've been wrestling for quite some time now, but growing up, let's talk a little bit about that. Do you have any wrestlers that you admired to, you looked up to as you were growing up, or any specific boxers or anything of the sort?
Absolutely. I have to mention Jackie Pallo, who was a close friend of my father's, who was the first professional wrestler I met. Mr. TV, they called him in the UK. He was, during the golden age of British wrestling, in the 60s and 70s, Jackie Pallo was a major talent. And, well, let me rewind. My father was a journalist, but prior to becoming a journalist, when he was in the army, he was a boxer. When he left the army, like, he had a bunch of boxing trophies. He didn't have much money. So he was making his money as a fairground prize fighter. He'd travel to the fairground and fight anyone that showed up for like $5,000, right? And when he was doing that, he met Jackie Pallo, who was became one of his best friends, who was a professional wrestler. Jackie Pallo found me my first judo coach, which was a guy called Tiger Joe Robinson, who was another British professional wrestler, and also Sean Connery is stunt double in James Bond movies.
Oh, wow.
If you see the James Bond movie Diamonds Are Forever, the guy that assaults Sean Connery in the elevator, and then Sean Connery beats his head in with a fire extinguisher, that's my first ever judo instructor, Tiger Joe Robinson, who apart from being just a badass, like a legit 100% badass at judo, Olympic, he was in the British Olympic squad for judo, was also a pro wrestler. So I got an introduction to pro wrestling real young, but you got to remember, like the 1970s in the UK, it wasn't like an indie scene. It wasn't like there were wrestling schools. There were guys around teaching boxing, teaching judo who had been pro wrestlers, but there wasn't anywhere to go. So it was a different world, So yeah, I got to mention those guys. And then when I came back into the game, like my first training was Spud, Nikita, or Katie Lee Burchill, which is known now like Rockstar Spud. The FWA.
Known as Drake Maverick, 205 Live General Manager, yeah.
Yeah.
And you said Paul Burchill as well, right?
Paul Burchill,
Earlier.
yeah. The FWA in East Croydon, a guy called Silvano, an Italian guy, had a wrestling school. When I trained there, it was 2004 in East Croydon. And Paul Burchill was the head trainer there. The week after my second week, he left. He signed with WWE. And then Nikita and Spud were the head trainers there. So
I worked Burchill. He was a pirate for those.
That's right. They gave him that pirate gimmick, man, which I was a little bit like. He was a very talented worker,
Oh yeah.
I felt that pirate gimmick kind of killed him a little.
Watered it down somehow.
Yeah, no, they could have given him something just a little more.
Pirates of the Caribbean just came out. It was hot. They got bank on that somehow. Yeah, but we always like to get a little history on our guests. So
see how big like wrestling played in your life, or just a sport of contact, or physical.
Well, yeah. So basically, I got into wrestling at a young age. There was never a point in my life where I didn't know wrestling was work, right? Like the first time I saw a match, because my dad was friends with Jackie, I always... I'm sorry if I'm ruining the magic for you.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry, Billy Barnes. Spoilers all over here, by the way.
He broke kayfabe! Damn it!
It's a hallowed ground, to break.
Yeah, there was never a point where I didn't think it was work. I always knew it was work. But that never deterred from my journey. It's like when you see a movie, you always know they're actors, but if they're doing a good job, you suspend your disbelief, you lose yourself in the story, it doesn't matter.
Transformers, those robots aren't really there.
Someone doesn't have to tell me it's a documentary for me to lose myself in it, But, so I always knew it was work, But, so I was very interested when I was young, and then, like, the mid-'80s, I got into punk, I was at a military academy. I left. I went for a very rebellious stage, and wrestling in the mid-'80s was so, like, the WWF was so, like, kind of glitzy and like Americana and shit, and I was into punk, and I was like...
like, no way.
No, this is...
Yeah, you weren't having it.
This is for kids.
Cartoony.
This is part of my childhood. Yeah. It's cartoony. It's stupid. And I was living in a squad in London, and like on tour with punk bands, and this is the story of my life, man. So by the time I was 15, I was done with wrestling, and then about 1991, I was in a band with a guy called Johnny Deathshead, and this guy Johnny Deathshead, right? He had the biggest. He was a horror movie. Grindhouse aficionado. He's one of the first people to use the internet and find movies on the internet, and he had tapes of everything. And I used to go around his house all the time, and I would be like, he'd have all these amazing movies that were banned in the UK, like Texas Chainsaw, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, banned in the
very first one,
1990s, like. But he gave me that on tape, and so like I'm around his house, giving me these tapes. He goes, I got these tapes, this wrestling. Much like that. Yeah, Like, he said, no, this is different, right? They're all covered in blood. It's like punk. And I was like, okay. And it was ECW, right? It was like this was like 1993, 1994. It was when it was still East Chap. So then I was like, and I was watching ECW, and I was like, these guys look like me, right? This is something I can associate with in this bingo hall, because it's like the punk shows I was playing. You know what I mean? Like, like WWE in the 80s was like Bon Jovi. It was like Bon Jovi. It was like Motley Crue. It was like big hair bands, big stadiums, right? If you're a kid in the bar in a punk band, it said nothing to you, right? Like ECW perfectly hit that '90s zeitgeist, you know, like when grunge was coming out and Nirvana, you know, you could just be a scruffy kid, just wearing your cut-off jeans, do it for yourself, and so that reignited my love of professional wrestling. You know, like when I was
That's cool.
so I was probably around 21, 22. Then that's when like I really go back into it again. Started appreciating it, yeah. That's when I started appreciating it again, and then UFC started, the early UFC, and just the whole combat sports.
Yeah, you know, like Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, you know.
Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, it was just, the 90s was an exciting time, you know.
We mentioned some of these really in-depth, like bloody, dirty, just hard-hitting old VHS stuff. Did you ever, this is just an aside, did you ever watch a series of videos or tapes called either Faces of Death or the Pain Olympics?
Yeah, I know Faces of Death.
Okay, those are the kinds of ones that really got me on the backyard industrial wrestling scene that just went crazy, because those were a big influencer of some of those shows.
Well, I think Faces of Death, Faces of Death come out like in the late 70s, I think, the first one. But prior to that, they had Mondo Kane, Mondo Africa.
Yep.
Like all these shockumentaries, like
Exactly.
the subgenre of shockumentary, and then those kind of gave way to like bum fights. Remember
Bum fights was big. Those guys got knocked down though. You know, they got taken to court and all that, right? And those got off the shelves real quick. But
well, I mean, I gotta say, like my whole thing with bum fights was right. I appreciate anyone that could be a agent provocateur, to go out, make money, do something outrageous, make some money out of it. But at the same time, you know, I have friends with drug and alcohol problems, right?
right.
And I mean, it's not something that I enjoyed watching, because I think, you know, like,
There's a little bit of loss of humanity from it.
well, you're paying two people who don't know what they're doing just to hurt each other so you can.
Make a buck.
Exactly.
You're not getting. I mean,
It's uninformed consent is what I would call it. The difference
it's like
between
when I watch MMA, right? When I watch MMA, I don't want to see, like, my idea of an amazing MMA fight isn't the one where the guy gets the most bloody and the most beat up.
No.
And got like bones sticking out their face. My idea of a great MMA fight is the technique, you know. And it's a war, and it's two guys. You know, like I don't enjoy seeing. I love combat sports, right? And I love violence, and I love the kinetic energy of violence and the dance. But I don't enjoy people getting hurt.
I think that you touched on something very meaningful. If we can break kayfabe again for just a moment, and people a lot of times shout out the difference between MMA fights and what we do and put on with different promoters as wrestlers and wrestling promoters, is the technique. You can still watch a show right here, whether you're 8 or 80 years old, for not having fear of violence actually breaking out in front of you, real, hard, life-threatening violence nonetheless, but not like that, and watch all the technique, because everyone who gets in the ring, you included, right, Max, you could throw down and do those moves and really hurt somebody, but you don't want to most of the time. Let's be clear about that. Most of the time.
Has some of the hardest hitting matches out there right now. So.
Exactly.
I was watching. You watched your match from Cage Match 2, you and Freddie Helmet. That was awesome. Yeah, I remember you guys like hit the cage, like almost falls apart. The whole crowd's like. I thought
I didn't realize the cage was falling down.
You probably don't remember. You've been drinking, weren't you?
No, I
He followed his own rules.
I watched the tape. I always follow my own rules. Lead by example.
There you go.
Lead by example.
Okay.
You know? I didn't realize the cage was falling down, because there was one moment when I went in for the pin and I was like, why is no one counting? And then I looked around and Freddie's holding his hand in the cage. Yeah. But that was a good match, I have to say. Like, I'm very happy with all the matches.
Who's on right now?
Yeah, just to whoever. Tony Ray's here.
He had it coming. He bled all over me so much. His first match, the one we had at UEW, I got to tell you this, because this is
Talk to
the
him.
funniest.
You're on the page.
Can we? Hello to Tony Ray's is watching live now. Thank you for watching with us. And Leo, what's up, man? Thanks for watching, guys. Love to have you in here, as well as Jeremy Bork and Rick Ramos. Thanks for joining us today. Just wanted to mention all the people out there. Love your faces.
Episode 10, baby. We're still pushing through.
Going hard, going hard.
And in the studio with us today, we got none other than Mr. Billy Bonds himself with us.
Billy Bonds behind the camera right there, just off screen, the legendary.
So before we're interrupted, a story about.
Sorry, go on.
His first match.
Freddie Helmuth, yeah. I don't know if it was his first match, but it was his first match for UEW, and it was his first time he got colored.
Yeah.
It was his first time he got colored. He overgigged, man. I've never seen anyone bleed that much in my life. Probably not in my life, but it was pretty close. And I'm still just working as a bouncer for years. Seen a lot of people with some pretty bad injuries.
Yeah.
But yeah, he cut too deep. He was bleeding so much.
Yeah, just a bad job. Yeah.
It was good for him, man, because most people don't cut enough. Man.
Yeah.
But it was, I almost passed out, and it was his blood. And I was like getting a bit had so much blood over me. Jimmy Mayhem had so much blood over him. This was amazing. When we got to the back, me and Jimmy Mayhem, and we had to shoot a shoot interview off. We were covered, like soaked in Freddie Helmuth's blood.
Yeah.
I gave him a snapmare, right? And he cut deep enough to actually hit a major blood
Artery or
artery.
something.
I gave him a snapmare, and then this spurt of blood. He started like about a second later. This spurt of blood just came out of the hole in his head.
Oh my God!
I was like, like full on samurai movie, like an actual spurt.
Yeah.
Like
And in the moment, you're freaking out.
Spurt. Where I was like, "Ugh,
What am I doing here?
it's not me. And it was fun though. He was fun. He's a good guy, man. They got some good photos out of that because he was bleeding.
Just gnarly.
Like a stuffed pig, they say.
And then Shield Cup, he gave you back your receipt with the kendo stick.
Yeah, he did give me the receipt with the kendo stick. Yeah, he's going to give a receipt off that receipt,
Yeah.
too. I mean, it's a never-ending circle of receipts.
I like
So
that.
Tony Ray, I got to say hi to Tony Ray's. She's watching. Hi, Tony.
That's right. We got
That
Tony Reyes
sounds-
in the building. Talking
Jeez.
about paying dues, he might be up next.
Paying dues.
No, when I look back over my career, the feud we had with the heavy hitters over the tag belts, Verb and D, against Tony Ray's and Biggie Biggs, like definitely one
Good.
of my career standouts. We had a steel cage match, Tony Ray's, Biggie Biggs, me, Jimmy Mayhem, which was the first belts I ever won. First belts we ever won was in that cage match, and that was a war. It was amazing. Those guys are game. Tony's game, you know.
Yeah.
He's like real old school.
Yeah, Tony's a professional. I love seeing him in the ring. He can work the crowd and work his opponent, and put on great matches every time.
And get over, yeah.
Jump on you off a top turnbuckle.
Oh man, I could only imagine,
Yeah.
I want to stay on the outside for that.
It's like being hit by a car, man. You're a boss, man.
A car with a cowbell attached.
Yes.
So one thing that's very important in wrestling is having a look, like a great look. And Max, what I was gonna get to is, the tattoos just add to your look. There's wrestlers with tattoos, and then there's guys who make the tattoos work. Such as yourself. I was going over like some of the photos we take at the matches. Your chest piece. A little fun fact: he's got Ruthless tattooed on his lower stomach, right?
Right.
And I got Ruthless, on my hand, so we have that connection.
Oh yeah, the hand.
The bond of ink. The bond of ink.
Yeah.
We'll have to kill you all.
So a tag team name's pretty easy for us. Ruthless.
Tag Team Ruthless.
Something.
Hashtag Tag Team Ruthless, guys.
Your back piece, awesome.
Thank you.
Is there any inspiration behind any of these tattoos?
Yeah, absolutely. Like 90% of the tattoos I have are Celtic knotwork. They're reflections of my spiritual beliefs. I think you'd say religious beliefs.
Okay.
I've been a practicing pagan since I was 11 or 12. I think so. I started getting them pretty young, and
That's a long time.
yeah, I have a few that aren't like the Egyptian. My first tattoo is the Eye of Horus, which is not it's a different kind of paganism. And then I have a couple of others, but most of them come from that pantheon.
That's cool. You know, I'm big into tattoos. I just got one, you know, yesterday on my arm, but I'm not on your level yet.
They're completely addictive.
Yeah.
You know, I got most of my ink done in 3 years. Like
Yeah.
I went through 3 years.
Yeah.
I think that's what most people do to have like a lot of tattoos. You know, I went through like 3 years, whereas what I was doing pretty much every paycheck I went, I was going back down to
Yeah.
tattoos.
It is addictive, yeah, but
And you know, when you're going all the time, you're getting discounts too. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're back in it, you're back in it. Yeah, we get it cheap. So I got like apart from my back piece, I pretty much had all the ink that I have now, give or take a few pieces by the time I was like 23.
yeah,
So I've had like most of it been there for a long time.
yeah, that's awesome.
But I have nothing on my legs. I'm waiting to get those done.
Yeah. Yeah, the legs usually, you know, legs are kind of, for me, I don't know if I want to do my legs because, you know, how often am I going to show them off? Because, you know, Bullyzone, we rock suits.
Yeah, show some leg.
Like-
We can. You think we
show
could?
ankle with these socks on?
You think we could rock suit shorts? I think we could pull it off. I don't know about you. I think I could.
Go to cut the sleeves off.
That'd be cool.
Cut the sleeves off.
Yeah.
Just have the guns hanging out.
Sleeveless suits.
Sleeveless, yeah.
We do sleeveless vest suits, shirt and tie, then shorts.
Look that up.
Sure.
We got to have a Bullyzone leg and calf day so we can rock leg tattoos and sleeveless suits.
Are you tattooed?
No, although I do have plans to get one very soon, either to mirror a scar on my left calf or to potentially cover it. But no, I'm not tattooed.
Well, this room is pretty divided right down the middle then, because
I have a lot of-
Bonds has a tattoo.
Billy Bonds has tattoos.
Right now is an accident, but I intend to fix
See,
it.
all the ink guys are on this side.
All the ink guys. Well, I'm sitting on the edge, so it's okay. If you guys will start to jump me for not having a tattoo, I can leave the room fairly quickly.
When you leave the room is when you're going to get jumped.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna stay in the room on camera, guys. Watch out for me. I might get jumped. Okay, stay
I have
tuned.
to say, talking about tattoos, my favorite tattoo of all time. I'm gonna tag my friend Paul so you can see this. I have a buddy called Paul in the UK, and he served in the military, and he got shot in the neck
What's that?
with when he was in Iraq in the 90s in the first Iraq War, and he has a tattoo around the bullet hole saying AK-47s ain't shit. And that's
Yeah,
what it says
that's
on his
sick.
neck, right? That is the coolest tattoo I've ever seen in my life, man. That is something. He has the
That's
exit
awesome.
wound and the entry.
Oh,
And he has
man.
AK-47s ain't shit tattooed under the fucking entry wound, man. That is
Jeez,
something
that's
hardcore.
hardcore. I like that.
Yeah, I just got to get a shot in the neck to get that. I'm not sure it's my level of dedication.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, I'll probably get like a paintball one. Like a paintball, yeah. Right. But you know, if you didn't know, you know, Max, he's winding down in his wrestling. You want to go into that? I'll let you take that.
I am winding down my wrestling career, yeah, which is well, ending it. Really is the
Proper term, yeah.
yeah. It's weird feeling. Getting old is what it is, you know.
Mm-hmm. See,
It
Billy
is
Bonds
what it
knows.
is, but my body, my body's not holding up the same way. Like I don't want to have matches and not be doing stuff because I can't do it because I'm scared of getting injured. You know, like stuff like shit like drop kicks, man. You get to be 45, like once you get over the age of 45, you know your spine it's just my
Yeah, 'cause
spine,
you're
my
giving those
neck.
drop kicks off the turnbuckles.
That's actually what's the main issue with my back is the
Yeah.
drop kick off the turnbuckle. Yeah, like people don't get that when they're watching. They think the bit when you're getting hurt is the bit when someone's doing something. To
Yeah.
you know, but it's
It's the one taking the fall.
it's that drop kick off the turnbuckle and dropping straight on my back that isn't so good. But also I'm moving as well
Okay.
from the United States because otherwise I wouldn't quit. I couldn't quit because I just love it, you know. So it's all happening at the same time. So I have 2 matches left,
2 matches. That's
and they
right.
are going to be sick.
You can say it.
Let the people
They're
know
going
what
to
they
be
see.
fucking sick.
Yes.
So make sure you buy some tickets, right, to come. The first one is going to be UEW Mother's Day Massacre on the 12th. That's next Saturday. And that's going to be me and Jimmy Mayhem in our last ever tag match together. And I got to say a big shout out to my tag team partner, Jimmy Mayhem, because he was the first guy, like my first day training wrestling in the US, right? I turned up at Rick Drazen's school, got thrown in the ring with him. So Like, and it was his second class. So his second class, my first class.
Sink or
he was
swim.
Thrown in the ring, right?
Sink or swim, right there.
Sink or swim. And we've been tagging together ever since, you know. We've had a good run. He's a real talented guy. And so that'll be our last ever tag match, Mother's Day Massacre. We're going to be taking on Homeless Jimmy and a Halloween Assassin. You know, two guys who really made names for themselves in CZW. And I'll tell you something. One of the only independent wrestling promotions that really successfully translated internationally, you know, in the early noughties was CZW. I mean, you know, they had so it's a real honor to be having a tag match against Homeless Jimmy, the Halloween Assassin, and it's going to be a war. You want to get a ticket for that? You don't want to miss that, because I promise you it's going to be bloody, it's going to be brutal, it's going to be shocking. And then a week after that is OCCW, Mind Games.
Mind Games, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's on the 19th, correct me if I'm wrong?
Yes,
Correct,
sir.
yes.
Okay, so that's on the 19th, and that is going to be my retirement match, my last match. So buy a ticket, come out, show some support.
Support Max Hammer, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Mind Games, like you brought up.
It's going to be a great show.
It's going to be really bad. Before I backtrack, you know, just a little bit real quick, UEW, we're excited to see you in that tag team match. So Bullyzone will actually be there next Saturday as well.
sir.
We're cheering you on, as long as all the other performers there as well. So with that being said, and Mind Games coming into play, what's going on? Because I'm hearing a lot of stuff, but I don't have any
Before
answers.
we talk about Mind Games, you know, we actually have the head man himself, Jonathan Malice, in the building.
He is in the next room. Should we need to go get him? You want me to? I will do that and step off and take care of all our online stuff.
Why don't you step up here and show off your
Billy Bonds, show that shirt off. Come on, come
Have a
here.
little switch off real quick.
And I'll go get the man in
Where am I
charge.
going, Mike?
Take a seat for a moment with us.
Yeah. Oh, Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan. So tell us, how do you feel knowing that Max Hammer is going to be gone?
That's a big hole in our industry. Well, our industry. I'm about as new to it as you can get. But yeah, that's going to be a loss that we're. Thank you there.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
That's going to be a loss that we're all going to feel there. Actually, he talked about tagging with Jimmy Mayhem. He and Jimmy actually gave me my first shot. I got to manage them, which Reed basically stay out of their way and yell and support them at Tony Fury's mother's memorial show. So big thanks to you and Jimmy for just letting me play along for tonight. It was a blast, and it was literally my first time in the ring and in front of the camera. So good stuff.
Thank you, man. You did a good job, man. That was a good match too. That was
a great match.
Yeah, the heavy hitters. Like I said before, man. I always love working Biggie Biggs and Tony Rage. Yeah.
How long have you and Jimmy been teaming together? I forgot to ask that a second ago.
So since I started wrestling in the U.S., 9 years.
9 years. Wow.
9 years.
Hey, have you wrestled anywhere outside of Southern California? I'm sure you have. I just let the people know that.
Not really. My wrestling in the U.S. has been limited somewhat by the fact that I can't fly. Mm-hmm. Because my legal status is complicated. So I can't fly internally. So I haven't worked outside of California.
Anywhere you would like to?
But I mean, apart from Europe prior to moving over.
Yeah.
There. I mean, but actually in I would have loved to work the East Coast. I would love to go work New York.
Yeah.
Like Philly.
Yeah.
Of course, like if I could have, I would have loved to work the East
vacate my
Coast.
spot here, guys, for
some House of
Mr.
Horror.
Jonathan Malice.
All right, House on Hard.
Get up for Billy Bonds. Yeah,
I have a
you're
lot
muscle
of
in the back.
respect for what Tommy Dreamer's doing with House Hardcore is really good. Very cool.
Yeah, also.
Do I
Yeah,
look
I want
House of
to.
Hardcore?
I would like to see you there.
You're looking Bullyzone approved. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Can't wait to get you a Bullyzone shirt too. And with that
I
being
hear it's
said,
out
ladies
the
and
car.
gentlemen, we are getting back forward into Mind Games.
Before Jonathan Malice, give out a shout out to our sponsors.
Let's do a quick little sponsor run, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to shout out to SD Promotions. They've been doing their thing for 4 years now, and they got behind us, so they're giving us a hand with some exposure. Shout out to Just Joel Inc. Just Joel Inc. That's all I got to say about that. And thank you to Mr. Nagi Riyadh. Thank you, the best man in finance and funding, handling all 50 states for loans and banking deals at Wells Fargo. He's a great influence for us. He's really pushing us forward, and he's been a big, huge help to Bullyzone, so I'd especially like to plug you in right now, sir.
Personal thank you to Mr. Nagiriyad. Thank you so much, man.
And with that being said, let's bring in the guy that we don't really promote, Jonathan Malice himself. Come on down.
John
There he
promotes
is.
himself.
That's
just
right,
fine.
take a seat.
Take your
right
seat,
there.
sir.
Come this way.
Take your seat.
He's taking the scenic route.
Oh, the scenic route?
You ever he's entered from a ring before.
I just noticed that what's going on around here in the off hours. You guys got a special podcast that you're putting on over here?
Oh,
How
yeah.
you doing, Max?
Hey, how you doing?
Nice to see you. Hey, you know what? They're gonna build a wall. I'm just saying.
You don't think you'll be able to get back?
I don't know. So while we're on
find a way.
the covering sponsors, want to give a shout out to my friends at Tino Evil. They sponsor the Royal Ramble, which you can listen to on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m.
On this same channel.
On the same free admission channel. A bigger, better, much better wrestling podcast here on free admission. Not better necessarily than the Bullyzone, but better than it was. So, how you doing?
We're doing great, man. We're just.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about UEW and how great that is, and then it's segued into
All
second
right.
place, and now we're into mind games right now. We just want to.
Well, I really can't speak on the greatness of UEW. So,
Tell us about mind games. What's going on? Like, plug that show real quick for the people who don't know about
Mind Games is a professional wrestling show that we have not this Saturday, but next Saturday, May 19th. That's at American Legion Post 716 in Los Alamitos. Mind Games. Now, typically what happens at Mind Games is every title's on the line, and we have a few specialty matches. And one, honestly, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart to the heart of my bottom, that it's a bittersweet evening for me because while we've only known each other a few years, I've admired his work for a long time. And our friend Max Ammo here, this is going to be his last match at OCCW because sadly enough, due to someone's ideas of having to build walls and whatnot, we're going to lose him to the new policies, immigration policies.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we still
No
got
anchor
Azrael,
babies.
so like that's good. At least
It's unfortunate that you didn't have any anchor babies while you were here, Max, or did you? Is it backfiring on you? All that denial is backfiring on you now?
I tried to, but unfortunately, I didn't work out that way with the anchor babies. I don't think anchor babies works anymore either. I think they've kicked you and your babies out.
Well, if you've been denying you since '72, well, that's not my kid. That's not my kid, right? Well, then it's gonna come back and bite. Wait, I got kids here. But you said that they weren't your kids. Well, you got to go back. Sorry. That's my phone going off, and the reason why my phone is beeping is because I've sent everybody I know a message to check me out on Bullyzone. Bullyzone, the #1 Bullyzone.
The only Bullyzone.
The only Bullyzone.
So automatically number one. We're number 1, 2, and 3.
Well, it's one of those factions that shows up at shows that actually does work and has a podcast and goes out and does more than drink beer and eat cheese and pork rinds. So I want to give you guys props for that. Yeah. I want to appreciate your guys' professionalism and enthusiasm at my last show, which was House Rule. It wasn't my show, was it? It was Sean Black's show at Amped Up
in the OC,
which was a fantastic show.
You let us, you let Sean use your venue, and we're always at your venue, so I figured the most we can do is pack that as best as we could.
Is this yours?
Yes, it is. Go for it. My herpes are in remission right now, so we're fine. But you know what I mean?
Warm.
Like,
who drinks warm Rockstar?
I do. I've been drinking that thing since 11 o'clock. It's been a long morning. But we love being at the De La Hoya Jiu-Jitsu Center. It's like our home. We love to pack the place. We love to get the crowd going. So, you're welcome for that. It was a great time.
Oh, thank you.
We got to do it again sometime.
Thank you for that.
Okay, now so let's talk about. By the way, hello, Billy Bonds. Good to see you. I know you're on the mend. After Michael Primrose threw a bit of a dirty shot your way.
A little bit. We have some unfinished business.
Yeah,
but we'll get to that.
You're Michael Primrose's guy. What's he gonna do after you leave? I'm sure he's gonna be in shambles after that.
He's a survivor. Michael Primrose is a survivor.
Like a cockroach.
That was uncalled for.
Things were said.
Yes, much like a cockroach, yes. No, he's a survivor. I'm sure.
Well, I mean,
he has Othello.
don't cry too much for him. He still has Othello and B.A. Marcus Frey under his roof. Yeah. The OCCW champion.
But let's get into the card. Start it off. What's going to be the opening match?
Okay, you know what? I left it right over there on that table, so I'm going to ask my employee, Bad Billy Bonds here, if he would be so kind as to bring me that clipboard, just so that I don't get anything wrong.
Billy Bonds is his own man.
You'll find a way to anyway.
Yeah, what?
I mean.
Yeah, like the numbers on your paycheck. I just might screw that up. Yeah, keep running off at the mouth there, Bonds Billy. Anyway, we're going to open with our tag team title match. Now, what?
We're not going to talk about that one. But whose opening is it? Because it looks.
Are you telling me who I can talk about
it's
now?
It's backwards. I'm trying to read your material, and there's 8 at the top.
Well, I'm sorry, it's in English and it's spelled correctly. That's probably why you're having trouble.
That's the cursive that kills me. It's that chicken scratch.
It's not even cursive. You know what the problem is with you millennials? Right? You do too much on your phone and you don't know how to move a pen.
I don't.
Let me just tell you this right now, all right? Clearly, these are nice Christian boys. They're wearing their church clothes, right? It being Sunday, right? So for those of you out there who can't see your feet, that don't like these guys, right? Look at how they're dressed. How could you not like nice young boys like that?
Yeah.
I don't know, but you can. Anyway, so the opening match is La Raza, the tag team champions, will be taking on the team of Suburban Justice. That's right, Suburban Justice. They're going to make their debut. That is the team of Drew Masters and Chris Camacho. They are recent graduates of the Orange County Championship Wrestling School, and they've both competed in singles and tag team action, and they're actually taking a big step up against La Raza, Alexander Vega, and Fighting Freddy Flores. So La Raza wanted this. Of course, the Suburban Justice, right? Wanted a taste of them too, right? So that's going to be an opening match. And you're saying, well, you have a title match in your opening? Yeah, we do. Because the crowd paid their money. They deserve to get bell-to-bell action. Not, oh, well, we're going to throw this at you. No, every match matters.
There you go. I like that. I've been seeing Masters and Camacho come up, but at the same time, I've seen La Raza dominate. So it'll be fun to give La Raza something fresh and new to, hopefully, who knows how it's going to go down, but I'm very optimistic La Raza is going to take down anyone you throw at them. My personal opinion.
Well, they are the champs, and they do work hard.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this, and Max has been there, and he's seen those guys work. He comes to the dojo and trains too from time to time. That's how he's been stronger than you since '72, right? Mm-hmm. Always working out, always training. But he's seen the boys in action. He's seen them work, and he sees how their work ethic. And I think he'll back me up when I say, they're going to give everything La Raza can handle. I'll tell you that right now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have booked it. I don't book squash matches, and I certainly, so there we go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very competitive match.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good to see OCCW takes its tag team division seriously, because I love tag team wrestling.
Right.
It's I've always loved tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
It has its own psychology, and too many promotions, they just
slap
make
people
their
together.
tag belts. It's just like slap two guys together. They've never worked together before. They don't have any kind of chemistry.
Right.
And that is absolutely not the case.
I grew up in the era of the Road Warriors, the British Bulldogs, the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express,
Steiner Brothers.
the Steiners, my God. Well, I was just talking about them today. And, the Killer Bees, the Wild Samoans, those were real tag team, that was a tag team heaven. And the tag team champions were 9 times, with the exception of Ric Flair, but they were better to watch than the champions. Like, for instance, when the British Bulldogs were champions or the Hart Foundation were champions, their matches were way better than anything Hulk Hogan rolled out there during the pay-per-views. Now, granted, Ric Flair was amazing at the NWA, but the Road Warriors, there was just something about when you heard Iron Man, boom, hit the ring, boom, 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 and those bastards would hit the ring and scare the hell out of everybody. There's Azrael. Is that Azrael?
The feature of OCCW and WWE and all independent territories in between.
Wow, he's got a WWE title right there in his hand.
Yeah, he wishes. Yeah.
Well, maybe his hair.
That was from the first show you actually invited us to.
I don't think I invited you. I think you guys asked if you could come. And I was like, you know what? No, this is the God's honest truth, and this is not the wrestling business talking. This is me talking. These guys hit me up. Hey, we want to do. I go. What are you guys all about? Well, we're this, that, and the other. I'm like, that sounds like bullshit to me. I'm not really interested in that. But then I looked at your message. This is the truth. It was you, I think, that sent it, right? And the spelling and punctuation was very well done. The capitals were. I was like, you know what? This kid is clearly not an idiot, right? I don't care much for his idea, but they asked respectfully. The guy can spell, and you can say, well, it was spell check. No, I see what spell check does to me. I know what it can do.
Makes it worse.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let these guys come on and try their thing. Why not? If they convince a couple people to come, it was worth my time. And I was blown away with the professionalism of these young guys, the competence of these young guys, the overall attitude of young guys who really are just getting their feet wet in this business. So while I don't much like bullies, and I've shown more than a few of you what I do to bullies, I do like Bullyzone, and I appreciate Bullyzone, and I will respect Bullyzone, especially after that evening of Amped Up Wrestling, is the way you guys conducted yourselves, and when you see the flip side of it all.
Way to put us over like a true professional.
No, I'm not putting you over. I'm telling the truth.
I have a special shout out here. We have Mr. Adam Woods of According to Woods watching right now.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Adam.
Hey, I heard he's a real sporting man.
Very sporting.
Sporting Wood.
As well as looks to be like Tron Jones has been watching us.
Hey, Tron Jones, the 7 o'clock show.
What's it called? The Shakedown with Tron Jones?
The comedy kickback.
The comedy kickback. Every time I click on that, I laugh so hard I almost crashed my car into the. So I got to stop. I either have to stop driving or stop clicking on my phone.
Or maybe you can just stop on by. His show starts at 7. Has a little comedy hour. I know you like to laugh. You got a good couple dad jokes in you.
I got some really good dad jokes.
See?
We're pushing the clock, so let's get on with the card.
Hold on a second. I'm not done talking. No, I'm kidding. But we also have Malcor versus Tony Reyes. Now, Malcor is an MPW stalwart. Tony Reyes has been with OCCW.
OCCW.
Oh yeah, OCC, and he's looking to promote his new, what's it called, 3PW.
3PW.
Yes. Thank you. He's looking to promote his 3PW. So we're going to put him up against Malcor. That should be a good match. We have Mikey O'Shea, the gatekeeper at Orange County Championship Wrestling, and also the whip cracker.
Yeah.
The ringleader, whatever you want to call it, against Daniel Moon from MPW. Now, I don't know a lot about Daniel Moon, but to everyone I've talked about and his matches that I've seen on YouTube, he's very well respected in his business. What can you tell us about Daniel Moon? Max, do you know Daniel Moon?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I trained with him a couple of times. And I seen him work because I used to work for MPW. He's good, man. I like him.
Good.
And his girlfriend.
His girlfriend? You like his girlfriend too?
No, him and his girlfriend. His girlfriend works too.
Oh, she does?
She's his manager. She's his manager.
Okay. Do we know who that is?
They're good
Mr.
people,
Santino's brother's graduate?
Oh, come
No?
on.
No, I mean, I thought they knew everybody. I know everybody knows Santino's people.
I've heard the name. I've heard
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
Daniel Moon's good.
That's an area I'm not
Like,
familiar with.
I liked him, man. Like, they have some good people down at MPW.
Yeah, oh, they do. Paul, if you're out there watching, I know you're probably busy keeping the world safe for mankind, but I want to wish you continued success in your MPW over there.
Yeah, Paul's a good guy. My cousin came over to visit me from the UK. My cousin's a cop.
Yeah.
Right in England.
Right.
So I phoned up Paul, right, and I said my cousin's coming over. He's a cop, and we come like do
to a ride-along?
visit.
Oh my God.
So like my cousin goes over to this police station in OC where Paul's like the sergeant, right?
Right.
And
Sergeant.
Yeah, or whatever. And he
Sergeant
takes him,
Logan
like
X.
him with a SWAT team, and he takes him. I like my cousins. Yeah, like we just have pepper spray in the UK, and we're allowed one can. And Paul's like, here's our snipers' rifles, our machine guns, yeah, like fucking Desert Eagles.
Yeah.
And my poor cousin's just like, yeah, we get like one extendable battle. It was like the MP5, and it was it was real nice for me. Took a lot of time out to show my cousin around, show him what being a cop in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Cop in.
And
like they
LA?
were talking. It was interesting to hear them talk because they were like, so Paul was saying to my cousin, so what do you guys do in the UK? When you get a guy with a knife. And like my cousin's like, well, we get like a van and we get like 6 guys with shields and we surround him with shields and we like shut him down, right? We riot shields. And like Paul's like, we just shoot him.
Yeah. Well, That's why people shoot. Well, all right, that's a whole social.
Which is a
commentary
whole
that I-
different.
whole different.
No politics here, baby.
Enough time, man.
Okay, that said, B.A. Marcus Frey against Voodoo Master. B.A. Someone's pulling up my what do they call that? The interwebs, the Instagram.
A picture page.
No, pull it back up. A picture page, right?
Go follow Mr. Voodoo Master over there.
Shout out to
He's
Voodoo.
pretty special.
Voodoo Master against B.A. Marcus Frey. Now, B.A. Marcus Frey is one of the Primrose boys, and Voodoo Master has a new manager at OCCW, Heidi. She's also handling Malcoy as well for OCCW, so that should be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, you fought B.A. Marcus Fred the Lodge.
I did.
At the
So
cup.
tell us tell Voodoo what's he's in store for.
He's in for a rough ride. He's a big guy, strong. You know. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough match for Voodoo. I think. I mean, you know. And Voodoo is Heidi managing Voodoo now.
He is. She is.
Well, that's gonna bring.
You heard it here first.
Bring in a whole set of mind games.
Yeah.
I don't know
Mind
how
games.
Marcus Frey is gonna deal with those kind of mind games because Heidi, she brings her own.
Yeah, it's a very special
her own-
mind game.
She brings in her own whole set of mind games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's perfect for mind games.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And you know, originally she came up with the name when we did it a year ago. All right, Mind Games was.
You know, WWF did it first.
They have mind. No, they don't.
Like
Mind
in your
Games-
house way back, you know.
No, I
You know,
don't.
Sean-
You know why? Because I'm not a mark. Okay, let's move on.
I'm the know-it-all. I gotta know these things.
All right. Azrael versus Helmuth. Now, for those of you who haven't seen Azrael do things like attack tour buses, beat up 14-year-old girls with chairs.
Oh, drag Michael Primrose's car down like half a length of a parking lot after a ring drop.
Oh, yes, that's right. He's also wrecked the referee's car. He's managed to put holes in, put that, is that up there? Good. He's also managed to put holes in venues and cost me my security deposit, ruin rental chairs.
It's a rental.
It's a rental. But he's really picking up steam, and he's going to be going up against Freddie Helmuth, who is his former teammate at Divided Intervention, and he's wait yeah, that's right, and then and so this is going to be the end, I guess, of their friendship. Azrael was pissed that Freddie Helmuth interfered in his match against Othello because they had a really good row going for that title, and now Azrael, doesn't have the title, and now he doesn't want that friend in Helmuth. Are you familiar with that match? Any of you? Did you guys see that match?
Oh, no,
Or were you busy
photograph?
talking smack to
We're talking
the
about
Skid Row Mafia?
What are you talking about, on Tuesday?
Yeah.
When you guys covered that? Yeah, I was watching. I was at work watching that thing. I'm fully committed to watching the Royal Ramble on Tuesdays at the Free Admission Channel, 9 o'clock.
That's right.
See, that's how you sell.
I like that. And don't forget, we're gonna talk about Bullyzone Tuesday night on the Royal Ramble as well. Okay, finally, our main event, we have Vintage Dragon, the winner of the 2018 OCCW Bushido Cup. Right? He defeated 7 other men to win that cup, and then he's taking on the OCCW 7-foot tall
LA Assassin.
wonder of the West, Othello, the big fellow. There's not enough superlatives for the man, but yeah, and Othello kind of took exception to the notoriety that Vintage received for winning what he calls the Bushido Sippy Cup. So that should be interesting. Vintage Dragon is a veteran of the Indie Wars. He's the consummate professional and a joy to work with. Othello is Othello. You been in the ring with Othello before there, Max?
No.
No. Yeah, me neither. And
Well, one of you guys can make it happen still.
well, I can make it happen. I can put you in the ring with him. Would you like that?
I mean,
No.
I thought you don't do squash matches.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I'm down to follow where the money is, but that's about it. So what I really want to know
I don't know what you're saying.
is what's going on.
I don't either.
What's going on with your match? This is going to be, for you guys that don't know, even though we just talked about 20 minutes ago, it's going to be your last match ever. The stake in the coffin.
No, nail in the coffin.
Nail in the
put
coffin.
stakes in the coffin. You put stakes in vampires.
Put stakes on my plate.
yeah,
Let's not
that too.
confuse things.
So you're asking, you want to know who my opponent is
Yes,
going to be?
please, because these mind games are killing me.
Well, I mean, my opponent is going to be Jimmy Mayhem, my tag team partner. We're going to be going one-on-one. My first ever match in the U.S. was against him. And, you know, the whole time we've been tagging together, we always had that question, you know, like, who's a real alpha dog in urban discipline, you know? Who we get the belts pinned on, you know? When someone's like your brother and you spend a lot of time on the road with them, you know, you don't want to fight them. Because, you know, you don't want to fracture that bond, you know? But, like, now we know it's all coming to an end. It's like it's the final. We've got to find out. You know, we're gonna go in. We're gonna have a war. Like I already talked to John. He's been good enough. He's making a street fight. It's gonna be no DQs.
Nice.
We're gonna go all
I was
the
about to
way.
say that. Yeah, I'll make it.
Because you know we came from the streets, Urban D. We came from the streets, and that's how we're gonna go back. We're gonna go out. I don't even want to make a prediction. I don't want to make a prediction, but it's gonna be a war.
Yeah.
And you're gonna want a ticket. You're not gonna want to miss it. I promise you that, man.
That's May 19th, ladies and gentlemen. Mind
Team
games.
OCCW Mind Games.
American Legion Post 716.
And let me say this, you know, win or lose, there probably won't be a draw. There's no DQ, right? I was hesitant to put this match on for two reasons. One, I know that with a no DQ match, all right, it's already going to be brutal enough. Jimmy Mayhem, you guys still friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good because I know that if I were going into the ring against someone who's going to be leaving the country for years at a time, right, I would pull out every stop I could think of to send him back across the pond and make him never want to return. So I was hesitant to sign that match because what I didn't want is A, Jimmy Mayhem going crazy and trying to eliminate Max for good, B, Max taking exception to said thing and putting another hole in the wall at the American Legion Post 716, much less blowing the roof off the place. But I owe it to Max, I owe it to the fans, and I owe it to wrestling. Saturday, May 19th, American Legion Post 716, you will see the final match in OCCW for Max Ammo, a no DQ match against Jimmy Mayhem.
And you heard it here first on Bullyzone Live, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I want to add that's not just my
Shame.
last match. That's not just my last match for OCCW. That is my last match.
Done. Retirement.
Retirement.
Yeah, all great things come to an end.
Man.
Much like this episode.
Yeah, my spine looks like chewed gum, man. It's like saying take some time off.
Yeah, so we want to thank all of our guests here tonight. You know, Bad Billy Bonds, you know, Max Ammo, Jonathan Malice. Thank you all for coming out and making this show awesome. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up, Lance?
No, I'm just going to, you know, stick very close to these 5 rules. Hopefully they will shape
Remember
me.
my 5 rules. If you're out there and you're listening, remember
Never
my
wrestle
5
sober.
rules.
Don't shake hands.
That's gospel.
Don't follow the booker. End of show. Don't break. Drink. Don't practice.
Never turn out to practice. John, if you turn out to practice, it makes it look like you're not good. You need to get better.
You don't need to look. You don't need
That's
to
why you never turn out to practice.
I don't.
Do you mean Bruce Lee practiced?
Well, yeah. As a matter of fact, I know he did. I practiced.
Jonathan, these are the final words he's gonna leave with me. You know, you can't stain this. I'm gonna follow this like holy scripture. You know.
Yeah, I do. Well,
we're gonna see where Bullyzone leads us.
I'm trying to guide young people.
I appreciate it.
I'm trying to guide young
You already violated one of the rules. You know what? It worked for Max. Max has been stronger than you since '72, but not as good looking as me since '73. So I will give him props. Good luck on your voyage, Max. And and to all of you bullies out in the zone.
Keep watching Bullyzone. Keep supporting indie wrestling. Keep coming out to shows. Keep buying tickets.
We got to get you a better flag than that,
Stay in the
Max.
zone.
All right, guys, and with that, I think we're going to say goodbye. Thank you for watching and tuning in with us.
I don't think they can hear you. I don't have a mic.
They don't know how lucky they are.
Bullyzone out.